Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo was released on the original PlayStation and SEGA Saturn back in 1997. The footage you're seeing here is from the Saturn version because, well, it's Saturn Day. And this just so happens to be the version that I own. First, I have to talk about that title. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo is clearly a play on Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, which by this point in time was kind of a spoof of itself in terms of naming conventions. It was ridiculous how many ways Capcom was able to pump out a new version of Street Fighter 2. So when this game came along, we all had a good chuckle, and then we plunked our quarters into the arcade machine and had an absolute blast. The arcade version was released in '96, and this version, as I already mentioned, hit the following year. The game is an absolute blast that mixes two genres together. Well, okay, maybe that's a lie. This is purely a puzzle game, but characters from the Street Fighter and Darkstalkers series actually battle it out while you play your game. So how does this all work? Blocks fall from the top of the screen, and your job is to match light-colored blocks together. Unlike most puzzle games though, the blocks don't just disappear on their own once you've matched them up. Instead, you need to match large groups of blocks together. You can make a 2x2 square, or perhaps a 3x2 rectangle, etc. Every now and then a special circular gem will fall that glows, and if you attach said gem to one of your previously constructed blocks, it will explode, thereby making it disappear. The catch is that if you do something like this, it's considered a special move or an attack, and a series of random colored blocks will fall on your opponent's playing field, making it much harder for them to complete new sections. These blocks have a timer of 5 seconds on them, and if the opponent is unable to perform a counterattack, the blocks will fill in after the timer runs out. Typical fighting moves, combos, and counters are all based around the concept of forming groups of light-colored gems together. So you can perform chain attacks if you can cause a series of blocks to be destroyed in a certain sequence. It might sound easy, but trust me, it is not. This is a very challenging game, and it gets even more intense once you start to play with other people, especially skilled people. Just like a fighter, the better you are at this game, the easier it gets. Throw in hidden characters, a great sense of style and humor, and you have yourself one of the very best puzzle games ever made. This CPS2 arcade game looks and animates beautifully, and the port holds up perfectly. It looks and sounds amazing, and for those that don't have access to either the SEGA Saturn or the original PlayStation, Capcom actually released an HD upgrade for the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live back in 2007 with online multiplayer and a wide assortment of extra gameplay modes and new features. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo's fantastic sprite work would give inspiration to another awesome arcade game from Capcom in 1997, Pocket Fighter, or as some of you may know it, Super Gem Fighter Minimix, which just so happens to be the next Saturn game I'll be covering next week, so be sure to check back in 7 days from now. In the meantime, I highly recommend you give Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo a play, either by picking up the Saturn or PS1 version, or hunting down the HD remake. It's amazing fun that you'll be playing for hours on end.